to our second episode of Love and Hip Hop New York Talk.
Yes. We have to remember that we have two podcasts. So just to reintroduce ourselves, my name is Marley. You can find me under Love, LUVMARLEY _ on Instagram and all that good stuff. If you're new to the show, you can also follow Diana and, well, Diana, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I am Diana. I am the other half of the podcast. And my handle, excuse me, on Instagram is I am Diana C _ I am Diana C _ and you can follow our podcast at Fresh Mondays Podcast on Instagram, and we'll give you all those details as we keep going. But back to what we're here for. We're here to make sure to give you guys our take on the third episode of season 10, Love and Hip Hop New York. We agreed last episode that this is probably our favorite cast.
Yes. Oh, without a doubt. If you don't know, we're biased already. If you don't know this, or last week's episode didn't tell you, this is our type of cast, our type of show.
Right.
The series we like.
Right. And like, even though it's like mindless entertainment, at times we all understand what reality show is. It's still like a guilty pleasure. It's like, might as well watch the people that I actually can relate to or find funny.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it is the guilty pleasure, you know, it's everyone else's guilty pleasure just as much. So you don't feel that like you can't share it. Because you could tell anyone, I was watching Love and Hip Hop last night, you were interrupting me. Or like, I'm in my moment. Like, that's it. Like, you know. So this week we are going to talk about episode 3. Obviously, last week, the premiere, we were shown 2 hours, 2 full episodes. So right now we're on episode 3. And you said, Diana, this was your favorite, a better episode than the last 2?
I think that the storyline is building better now by the third episode. I think that's probably why they probably put the first 2 episodes together, because they knew the third episode was going to be like the pick-me-up. I don't know.
Okay.
But I feel like there was a pick-me-up. I think that there was more of a fluidity in the episode, because I guess last episode was just catch up. Catch up. So like,
there was a lot of introductions. There's a lot of meeting where people are, where people's thoughts are with each other.
Yeah.
When they last saw each other or met with each other and stuff like that.
Right. So now I guess it's like you start to see the development of the story. So I guess that's probably why I thought it was a better episode from the 3. And of course, I definitely want to touch on, some of the highlights.
Yeah. So let's dive deep in how we first begin the episode with Chrissy, Kimbella, and Juju. Great to have Juju back. Juju fluctuates between the Miami and the New York cast. And maybe because I always picture her Miami because she is Miami Cuban. So she's real Miami when you talk, like you hear from her.
Right.
So she was presently there. They were going to Miami for a group that Chrissy's a part of, the
millionaire
investment group.
Yeah. Millionaire ladies, something like that. Something with women and millionaires, with
women and money. Yeah.
There you go.
Things that matter in our lives too.
Right.
What we want. So Kimbella stirs the pot and shares from last week of Yandy reading the article out loud.
Right.
And I guess she kind of delivered it, in my sense, she delivered it messy, purposely.
Okay.
Because she was upset that Yandy was reading it out loud. I remember from the last episode, she didn't like the way she was reading it. And she threw in the extra comments that Yandy was saying as well.
What would you have done if it was your homegirl and you were put in a situation where they were reading her business, even though it's facts? What would you have done if you were in that situation?
I would have told my homegirl.
Okay.
And I think, everything's about delivery, right? Everything's about intention and delivery. Right. So obviously everything in recording for them is a little bit extra and spiced up.
Right.
Like Yandy said, that's when I finished managing him. That's the last time he paid.
Right. It felt like there was a little bit of a jab.
You did it on purpose. Nobody needed to know that, right?
Right.
Those are more in the details. We didn't know. So if that was eliminated, I would have told my friend with that elimination, without that part in there, that she said that. But Chrissy told her, Kimbella told Chrissy everything. even that line that she said. So that's stirring the pot, I guess, to me.
I can see why you think it's stirring the pot. I can see that. I honestly, in my opinion, I don't see why Kimbella wouldn't tell her friend. You know, regardless of what her motives are now, that people are saying that they're not really friends, whatever. But the fact is that at the moment she's her friend, and I feel like I would have told my friend too, like, yo, heads up, you know, they was talking about what happened with you, so you won't go into a situation blind. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily to create issues. It's just like, just looking out.
Yeah, just
You
putting
know?
out there what it is.
Right, right. So in conclusion, I think that Yandy did kind of take a jab when she made her comment.
I think I'm interested to see where the Kimbella and Chrissy friendship goes, because it is so brand new and
Right,
she's trying so hard that it might sort of backfail on her. I don't know. I don't want to say
right,
it will, but I'm playing on what they're kind of giving us, because the friendship
right,
happened too quickly for me too.
right. I get that. And maybe they both thought it was convenient for them to get along during filming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that they're both smart enough women to say maybe it might be more convenient for us to coexist and at least hash this out, and let's just make the best of it instead of having beef. You know what I mean? So it's like that could have sped up the process. Who knows? I'm trying to be the positive in this situation. So let's not automatically just assume that their friendship is going to deteriorate. You know,
From
let's
there,
see. Right.
let's
But
think positive.
speaking of her Miami trip, when Chrissy did her speech to all the people she does work with, I'm not going to lie. I like that scene. I thought she was being genuine. I thought it
Vulnerable
was,
and real.
yeah. And no, but I don't feel like it was like rehearsed. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I feel like she was really being honest. And I thought it was awesome. And I think a lot of women that were listening, that really resonated with them, because I felt like it resonated, because it's like, yo, sometimes you want to be responsible, but things happen.
Things out of your control, things out of your means occur. And so her honesty with that situation, like, people will appreciate that, because that's realistic. You're right. You want to know the truth, that anything can happen
Yeah.
and things beyond your means and control can happen. Although she's not fully responsible for what occurred there, it's still a part of her life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you
And
have to be honest. You're going to invest here if you're going to be a part of this.
absolutely. And I'm sure that women in general who are in a position that they're ready to invest is because of factors of either having a little bit of extra money or, you know, being independent. There's many layers to it. So it's like, with that environment, I'm sure there's other women that would have possibly been like, yo, I've been through my ups and downs as well. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like I enjoyed that scene. I thought it was touching.
And I liked how she called Jim and reminded him again and let him know, this is what I went through just now because of that. Like, you know, when you're like spiteful in a bit, like, do you want to know what I had
Yeah.
to do? Do you know
Right.
what
And
it feels?
you still want, I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah.
you still want that. And
Did
it's
he give her
like,
I'm sorry?
and nigga said he was gonna go to people's windows and like break them. I don't know what he said. He said, I'm gonna throw rocks at everybody's house or some wild shit. And she was just like, I'm done. And she just hung up the phone on him. But I don't know. He said some crazy shit.
But did he ever truly apologize? I mean, he fessed
That
up
was,
when
I
he
think
did.
that was his apology, that conversation. And
Not the one I was looking for. No, ma'am.
that could be as good as it gets, though. You know, that's some people. That's how some people communicate. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying,
No. Everyone's love language is different. We have learned this.
right,
But
right.
I'm sorry was the words I'm waiting for. I apologize for my wrongdoing.
My bad.
My bad. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those are the little things you wait for. But okay, we'll see where this goes from here and the impact that has on her with her investors. We did see a preview for next week that there is some sort of mixing between her investment portion and possibly Yandy and other people. So this should all,
Dum dum dum.
yeah. When you mess with people's money and business, it goes next level. We were then brought to the scene where Erica and Papoose is with his new artist. We were introduced to his new artist called Fresher, and that
Yeah.
is PH. It's not Fresher.
Right.
It's Fresher.
They
Go
made
with it.
sure to explain as PH. Yeah.
So he is a rapper. Um, they just introduce him, I guess, as he's a part of the cast. He's one of Papoose' protege. He wants to build his own
Brooklyn
label.
native, done
Brooklyn native.
maybe a couple of strong features that I
He
honestly
has a
I wouldn't.
song with Cardi. He has a
Right.
song with Cardi that I know of.
Cardi and Remy Ma, based on the
Yes.
clip. And
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, personally, am not too familiar with who he is. I don't know if he's, you know what I'm saying? But
If
I
he's popping
personally
or
am
not.
not, yeah, I'm not sure. So it was new to
Um,
me. Like I saw it like a new character, like, you know?
which is, we have a little frustration sometimes when these
Yeah.
folks get introduced to us.
Mm-hmm.
So given that he's, I think, there's only like 2 or 3 real new characters being introduced from my
Right.
understanding of this,
Mm-hmm.
I think we can be accepting. We can be like,
It might be
okay.
a good sign why he was selected, you know, above all the other options.
And it seems like their storyline is going to be connected with the others,
Mm-hmm.
not just their own single-handed storyline. I think that's where Love and Hip Hop goes wrong sometimes, where you end up with a whole storyline way off on the other side that you
Right.
don't see how these connect.
Right.
So interesting to see. He's an up and coming, works with Papoose. So we'll see where that goes from there. Also, Papoose then meets up with Safari and
Mm-hmm.
has a conversation with Safari in regards to just like Erica bringing up the prenup. Um, Papoose is always, I guess, Papoose is gonna be like our our guru in a sense, right? Like the
Yeah.
love guru
He's like the scale of how one should act. Like I
at
don't
all
know.
times,
Yeah. For sure.
where he can kill you out in the streets, but he loves you. Like he loves his woman. Like he appreciates love too. He loves that. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's a lovey-dovey. You know that he's the kind of like to cuddle up the whole night, like in bed under you, and you'd be
He's
like,
a
I can't
hundred
breathe.
percent in love with his wife.
100% without doubt.
100%. And when a man really, really, really loves a woman, like he acts like it. So I just feel like he is just the biggest version of that we've seen in a long time. That's
Yeah.
all. Like that's why it's so weird to us because we're all so fucked up in the head that it's like, oh my God, what is this positive behavior? Shit makes no sense. So it's like this person is literally just being super committed to his woman and everybody's like flabbergasted. They're like, oh my God.
Even he even said he had to convince Remy that it was real,
Right.
because even Remy's like, what the fuck is this? Why are you giving me so much? We
Right.
really are fucked up, a lot of us.
Right.
Those
Right.
men, those men of the past will really fuck us up. So you got a lot
Right.
of work to do with us.
You don't even understand healthy behavior.
Right. Because no man, you'd be like, no man acts this way.
Right.
So so shout outs to Papoose for being that guru and talking to Safari and essentially understanding that convincing Safari, not convincing, but explaining to him the purpose and why, she wants a prenup. These
Right.
men in the past have fucked her over. It
Right.
makes sense. And I think as for us, for women, if we had our own in that sense, in that larger scale with whatever it is Erica Mena does and the money that she makes, you need to protect that. And she has another son. So that is also, I think, in my opinion, a reason to protect yourself, especially in a
I've
money where
been
both of you have money, X amount of dollars, and you just need to
I've
protect
been
yourself for that
pro
matter.
prenup the whole time this has been introduced. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think we're women, so for us, it's like, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you
Right.
get a prenup?
Mhm.
But if Safari brought it to her, would we be pro prenup?
First and foremost, the one thing I want to say about prenups don't have to be bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like every time people say that, I be feeling like, what exactly is it that you think is on these prenups? Like, it's like, if you are in a good space and you guys are not angry at each other, I think that's the moment to write the prenup. You know what I'm saying? Where you're thinking with a logical head and you're saying, okay, everything that's yours is yours. Everything that's mine is mine. Anything we open from this point forward is ours. And I benefit from this, you benefit from that, and X, Y, and Z. You see what I'm saying? So it's like if that conversation is had when you're in a good space, it's a good conversation.
yeah.
So it's like, well, if Safari were to bring that up, I'm sure that is offensive from Erica's point of view. I'm sure, because some people don't like this conversation, as we can tell. But if they both looked at it like that, what I wouldn't take it worse. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it was just, I feel like we're being responsible.
Yeah, we're being adults about this and what we already have and achieved. So, in the end, Erica and Safari had a conversation, hashed it out, and Erica decided not to go with the prenup. So, I think she put some thought into it, and that's a risk she's willing to take.
Right.
And she's confident and secure in this relationship to not go forward with it. It is Safari, ladies and gentlemen. But he also seems like a little bit more lovey-dovey kind of person as well. Like he's in love with her in some way, I think.
I don't know. I can't call it with them.
You
Like,
can't
it's
call
just
it yet?
like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like,
It's her, but I'm sorry. Let me stop.
you think so?
I think because we've seen her so much in everything that you just can't pinpoint what it is about her that is like presented in front of you. I don't know.
I think it's concerning that she's like super involved with everyone that she's with when she's with them, and then it ends very badly.
It goes crashing, and it's just, yeah.
That's weird, Like, it's like, why does it always have to be such a bad split breakup? If anything, I feel like he should be conscious of that.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's very interesting. We'll see where this goes from here.
It's like if you meet someone, like if you're hiring somebody for a job and every single job they've ever gotten and had, they've been fired from it. You're gonna, for a moment, say to yourself, okay, we all stop working in places, but we don't get fired from every single place we work at. So it's like, we need to definitely
all
figure
6 past job histories have been red flagged as fired.
You have been banned from the building. Okay?
Yeah, like we'll see where this goes from there, because obviously I'm sure there's a roller coaster of all things happening with that one. Oh
my God, pause. Why was
Go ahead.
Tahiri at the photo shoot? I'm like, these bitches is friends. We can move on. But that was just like, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, these bitches is friends. But whatever.
But where that photo shoot was like in a random outside place. It was just like,
these bitches is friends. Like, really? Okay.
You'd be like, where was Tahiri all these years? So we later get introduced to Fresha's artist. So this is where Rich Dollars comes in. I always ask, in the past 2 episodes, I have said, why is Rich Dollars still on this show? It's my question. And I guess one day we're going to answer it, but I think today was last week's episode. This episode was the answer. He's going to try and manage this girl. And that looks like that's the storyline.
So they're never going to change the play.
No.
This is the one that they're going to run every single season of Love and Hip Hop New York.
Rich Dollars wants to manage this girl. Last storylines have been Rich Dollars manages a girl, falls in love, starts fucking, having sex with the girl. I think they're going to try and go with the different approach with Rich Dollars actually does the job. So we'll see.
You think they're trying to clean up his image?
Or maybe he is, because I know last season was a lot more of like, remember his baby mom's shot,
and him being, it was crazy,
and him crying in court, and that was like a lot. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit different.
And he's there for her.
Yeah,
yeah.
So maybe that's that. Maybe that was the cleanup to then he's kind of aged into a better person or something. I don't know.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Mona Scott works in mysterious ways, so I'm gonna take that for what it is. There is some relation between this new artist. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Janiska, something along those lines. So I apologize to her. But
were you impressed? First glance, gut reaction.
I was just like, I feel like this is just another girl, like how they tossed in from last year. All those other rappers. So I haven't been, but then she ran down her credit that she's written for other people. And I said, okay, there's some potential there, but I'm just waiting to see.
Okay, because I definitely just from a fan point of view, as far as the music business and industry and all this stuff we follow, like, I just want to know, I like to hear people's initial gut reaction to somebody, because that tells you a lot
Mm-hmm.
about, sometimes longevity. And I don't know, she underwhelmed me.
Got it.
I don't know. That's how I felt. I'm
Like it
not
was
saying
just almost like if it was just taking up space in the hour that we had of the show.
maybe her extreme mannerisms when she communicates could have possibly turned me off, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just that I don't know how to say it. Like I'm assuming it's gonna get better, but
Yeah,
like it was just underwhelming.
underwhelming of it. We'll see where that one goes. And
Mhm.
so there's a toss up between, I guess she has to decide between Fresher as managing her or Rich Dollars.
Marley, this was the part of the show
Where you went and go grab some more chips and salsa.
that I was just like, I am losing a brain cell. This is terrible. This guy being her manager and keeping it professional was the biggest Me Too movement
Right.
example.
Because when he said you need to go get your body done, I was like,
I'm like, is this like on purpose that this person is speaking this way? Because there's no way that this shit makes any sense. Like he's on TV. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So it's like I'm just like, okay, I get it. The music industry is rough, but it's like, is this person that ignorant that they would say something like that? Like,
right. And I think she looked at him too, like, excuse me? Like,
I don't know. That part was just so stupid to me that I was like, this has to be staged. Because why are you talking in this way? Like his mannerisms, his voice, his tonality. I was just like, what is wrong with you?
but like,
Like,
is he aware what's happening outside? Like,
I didn't like it at all. I was like,
mm,
this is corny as fuck. And now the play so they could bring Rich in the situation. They could, you like this, like, oh, word, Rich, like, word. Like, come on. I don't know. That part annoyed me.
I think a lot of that disappeared in my head from what happened because I just wasn't meshing with it. Like it doesn't share as important. I just saw Rich. I just knew there's something happening there.
And then
Um,
Happy Place, you were like, come on, not paying
yeah,
attention.
okay, not paying anymore. Um, we later get into Yandy and Johnathan talking to each other, getting their nails done. Johnathan has a perfume launch coming. There's always a launch, ladies and gentlemen. There's always, I'm working on a project. There's always a showcase.
I'm
There's
having an
always
event.
I'm having an event, and it's always something. Now, will we see the product launch? The actual products? I don't know. I don't know what Johnathan has. This is the first time I've heard of Johnathan doing anything. I don't know what Jonathan's background was ever. I think it's the
Makeup
first time I
artist.
learned it. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But still, he had a perfume launch as a makeup artist. But sure,
Sure.
cosmetics.
I've seen more with less. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Right. I still
Um,
haven't seen the product, but there's a product launch.
right. I think that Yandy in her shit talking element is very entertaining.
Yes.
Because when she be going in her bag to talk some shit, that bitch is entertaining as fuck.
She'll
Okay.
pull them out. She'll pull, and I think that's why people don't like her, because she just be dragging them out. All the shit talk that she pull out her bag. Yeah.
But it was so good. Like I was like, yo, this is so good.
So they are kind of like mocking her. So Johnathan tells Yandy that Kimbella told. See, this is where it gets like,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like Jonathan's just constantly that middleman. So Johnathan told Yandy that Kimbella told Chrissy that she was making fun of her about the foreclosure and reading the article. And so that just is all the setup for the fragrance launch,
Oh yeah.
or where
We
everybody's gonna be in the same place. That was the setup.
because the time and place to have arguments is at events that are paid for and public.
In
Yes.
the public at all
Mm-hmm.
times. At all times.
Mm-hmm.
Can I in real life it just doesn't work that way, I don't think.
I mean, the last place I need you to come confront me
Is that
is at an event that I'm hosting.
right.
Like, we are definitely never speaking again if this is when you chose to
To
really
do
come
this at
at me.
my party?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I am busy actually while you're here, and I'm taking time out of my fucking day for you to come at me. Like, nah,
No.
that's crazy.
So walking in, obviously Yandy's there. Kimbella arrives and just sticks to her story of what she was telling Chrissy. And obviously the music changes, the mood shifts, and then walks Chrissy, and everyone's talking loud. How are you talking that loud? The whole 45 minutes before someone arrives. Because it has to be Chrissy had been 45 minutes late or something. Like it's just like the perfect timing of when one walks in.
Right.
Always just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of go at it. They start getting shady at each other. Between Yandy, Kimbella yelling, Sin on the side, like, no, that's not what happened. But also Sin is like, what the hell is happening
Yeah.
altogether?
And everybody kind of showed their true colors that they're not really fucking with Kimbella. That's what I got from that. Like everybody was quick to kind of like throw her under the bus. And it's like there's an underlying situation where I guess now that Johnathan and Yandy and Sin are like BFFs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
apparently. Maybe that's why they all banded together. But if so, it felt as if they were all against Kimbella.
Yeah, they tried to. They were really defending Yandy for what
Right.
she was saying, but I do think Yandy was being facetious in a way where she was like, "Oh, he stopped paying when I stopped managing him," or this
Right.
start. That's being shady. Like that was unnecessary to throw
Mm-hmm.
in there. And them just saying, no, she was just reading the article. Well, that sentence wasn't in the damn article.
Right.
So this is where we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is it a lot to fight over? It is.
Right.
But they're trying to find what's the climax of this.
What was your thought when Yandy said that basically she's just doing this to distract you from like being mad at her? She made that comment to Kimbella.
I
What are your
like
thoughts?
that. I like that. Now that you mentioned it, I was like, that's actually a really slick ass move.
I
Like
mean,
on both parts, on Yandy to say that and for Kimbella to be doing that. Does you get it? Like it's a smart ass move
mm-hmm.
because yeah, that's just a smart ass move. It's you're playing the chess with everybody.
For
You're
sure, I think it's playing chess, but do you think there's any validity to her saying that Kimbella's just, you know, trying to be her friend by being the one that's the informant and letting her know like what Yandy's saying?
yeah, I think there is validity to that. I think there is because it's clear. I think essentially because I'm again Diana. If you were to beat my ass and give me a black eye and my punani showing all over the place,
And you know
we
they
would
showed the clip.
for the 1800th time. You know very well you and I would never be friends again.
Yeah,
Until
it's not my intention to like have you around me again.
right. Like you cannot walk beside me. We can barely walk down the street together if that was something to happen like that, like cross paths. So
Right.
I think it's weird that Kimbella is just so. Although she apologized, right? Because Chrissy did apologize in this episode. I mean, this season when it started. It's still a lot to let go of.
I agree. And I really, in a way, I'm not sure why they're trying to make her like the black sheep of this season. I'm not 100% sure. Because like okay, Johnathan called her an idiot, basically. He said, you with your 1% IQ.
That
That that's not friendship
was
stuff.
hilarious, though. You know, we're talking about the shady bag that comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, your 1-digit IQ. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
A one. I was like, I had to think about this. I was like, a 1-digit IQ. Like you're killing the girl.
Right.
You didn't give her double digits.
No,
But
she's a
yeah,
plant. So like it's definitely interesting that they all like are now anti her. Like it really feels that way. So I don't know if she feels that, so she just wants to have a friend. I don't know.
yeah. Kimbella might be in the need of it because her and Yandy aren't friends anymore from how last
Mm-hmm.
season kind of
Right.
went on about. So I think Kimbella's looking for somebody to latch onto in order to stay relevant on the show.
Maybe. Or just to like survive.
I, surviving is just to get paid too. Being on that show is surviving to make
That's
it
true.
through.
That's true.
So for next week, we are continuing this conversation from what I saw in the previews.
Right.
We are introduced to Fresha's baby moms, who
Mm-hmm.
seems to be a storm that walks through and
That's
let you know what it
apparently
is.
offering some smoke as well.
Yes. And I tried to calculate how long they've been. He said they've been together for 20 years, ladies and gents, and he looks about 30. So I couldn't even calculate it together. I was like, oh, okay, this is for a while. So
They could be 35. You never know, because she looks like she's a little mature.
yeah, 20 years together is a long time.
That's a long time. It's a long time.
That's the high school things that you just never let go of that person. That person's
Right.
always there, and you'd be like, man,
It's rare.
it never went. Very rare.
Mhm.
So that'll be interesting to see. We still don't know when Olivia comes in. We were shown that little, snippet, that 1 second when there was
That
the
teaser.
long extended teaser. So obviously that has to do with Rich Dollars, if y'all know. And we'll see where we goes from there. Any expectations or anything looking forward to for next week?
Looking forward to some Joe again.
Yeah, because I think that's all me and you really truly care about. So we had no Joe conversation.
I like the show.
I know. Again, my favorites are Joe, Papoose, and Remy. Sometimes Erica and Safari, just because it's just a mess. But I'm watching because of Joe, in a sense, and Remy and Papoose. So interesting to see. Remy had a case throughout this whole time also. There was a situation that was happening. So I think that may be brought up. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think that other person is on the show, but I think it'll be maybe highlighted in regards to them.
I recall.
So that's something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our recap of this week of episode 3 of Love and Hip Hop New York Talk. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything you disliked about this episode or that we may have missed and not talked about, and want to share your thoughts, go ahead and email us. Email us at freshmondayspodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram as well under Fresh Mondays Podcast. And join the conversation. We want to know your thoughts on the show. I love a lot of conversation happening here. Your guilty pleasure, that is Love and Hip Hop.
Absolutely, guys. We love talking about the television subject of Love and Hip Hop. If you guys want to chime in, make sure to add us at something that you think is worth a conversation. Hit us up at our IGs. I am Diana C _ and our podcast is Fresh Mondays Podcast on Instagram.
Yes, and you can find me at Love Marley, LUVMARLEY _. And we look forward to talking to y'all next week.
Yes, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Ooh.
By the time you guys hear this, you're going to be enjoying some great food and opening some presents. And we want to say Merry Christmas from Fresh Mondays Podcast. We are so happy and so excited for the new year.
Yes.
And shout out to Marley's family for interrupting us while we were recording earlier.
Those will be edited out. You won't see it.
Because she lives in a big Dominican household and no one understands boundaries. So we really want to say shout out to Marty's family up in Boston. It was nice to have you guys part of the conversation.
Thank you. And a shout out and a happy birthday to our very own Diana.
Yes.
May you have a wonderful and beautiful birthday. I know you had a great weekend already, but hope that continues. And I'm so excited for you for the new year, because I know last year was a roller coaster of everything, but this year is just up and up and continue shining and doing your thing, girl.
Right. So and what better way to spend a moment of your day on your birthday than to pod?
With the thing you
love.
I
like doing it.
With the shit you love talking about. That's what matters.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.